In horse racing, the stakes are so high, you often have to dare to risk it all, to dare to be great. On May 30th, 1988, 9 races were scheduled at Belmont Park Raceway in New York, featuring top jockeys from around the country.
Anybody who's involved with horses knows it can be a dangerous endeavor.
Jockeys' bodies are exposed to all sorts of injuries. We're dealing with an animal running at 35 miles an hour. Broken bones are commonplace here.
One of the jockeys riding that day was 24-year-old Richard Migliore.
Richie's nickname when he rides is Hard Rider because he's so gritty and tries so hard all the time.
I just have to pray every day that, you know, when he goes out in the morning, he'll come back at night and he'll be fine.
Well, Richie looks like he's got a good chance in here.
In the first race, Richard was to ride number 7, Madame Aladar, whose trainer was Winky Cox.
Madame Aladar was ready to win. Condition-wise, she was good. She looked good. I think her temperament in the paddock was good. And we really expected a big race from her. Good. Richie and I discussed the racing that day, and Richie knew the filly because he'd been on her. When they called for the riders to get up, I gave Richie a leg up and patted him on the boot and said good luck.
23 and 3.
The head EMT on duty was Morty Rosen.
Watching races through the binoculars is watching a group of horses. You never focus in on any one horse because at any point there could be a spill.
As they round the parterre, round 47 left, River of Tea continues to lead.
Jockey down.
Three jockeys were down. Morty was the first EMT on the scene.
You okay, Chris? I got to Chris Anthony lying on his back. His eyes open, but his eyes were rolled back in his head.
Go see Richie, he's hurt bad. I said, don't bother with me, don't bother me. I'm fine, get Richie and get Chris.
Richie, get me the collar, get me sandbags and longboard. Richard? Looking at Richard, he was unresponsive to me. He was totally unconscious.
Richard's wife, Carmela, got a call from the track.
There was a man's voice, and he said, you know, there's just been an accident. Richie's gone down in a spill. It looks bad. And I just flew out of the house.
Wheels up. I got him. I got him.
Along with another less seriously injured jockey, Richard was packaged for transport to the hospital 10 miles away.
Of course, my first fear, any jockey's wife's first fear, is paralyzation. And I remember feeling, this can't be happening to Richard. Racing is all that he had done since he was 15 years old, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Carmela caught up with the ambulance en route to the hospital.
Rich, I see a red car behind us. It looks like Carmela. Richard was coming in and out of consciousness. Richard couldn't remember what colored car he owned or whether he was married. Your wife, Carmela?
Within 10 minutes, they arrived at the hospital.
When I saw Richard hurt and crumbled almost, I was devastated.
Rich, my name is George. I'm going to be taking care of you. Did you lose contact?
At Long Island Jewish Hospital, Richard was examined by physician's assistant George Berry.
Who you are?
Yes.
Tell me your name.
Richard.
You know what day of the week this is? Mr. Migliore had sustained facial injuries. He was complaining of neck pain, right arm pain. And the concerning thing was he was complaining that he was having numbness and tingling in his lower extremities below his waistline, which would correlate to possibly a significant neck injury.
I remember distinctly thinking, you know, this could be the end of life as we know it to this point, as far as riding, as far as having children, as far as having a life together that we had dreamed of. The more he complained about the pain, the more fearful I got. We finally did get him into X-ray, and that's sort of when everything started really turning downhill.
Dr. Weber, we just had a 24-year-old gentleman jockey taken in from Belmont to...
Richard's neck was broken. Dr. Arthur Weber, a specialist in spinal injuries, was called in to take over his care.
It looked like the bone was extending into the spinal cord, and Richard's injury was such that he was millimeters away from becoming a quadriplegic.
Dr. Weber told me he may never walk again. That, to me, it was almost like I heard a boom in my head. It was so frightening to hear those words.
Mr. Migliore, do I have your consent to go ahead? I could in no way guarantee them that the surgery would be successful. In fact, I'm required to tell them that the operation could make everything worse.
The delicate surgery took 3 hours.
I was sitting in the operation, you know, waiting area, and I saw him walk out the doors, and I sort of ran up to him, and he had a big smile on his face, and he said, I remember his exact words were, I know what it's like for you guys to win the Kentucky Derby, because, you know, we just won the Kentucky Derby where Richie's concerned. I was so elated after that. I felt like everything was going to be okay then. But, of course, that was only half the battle.
Is it okay there? It was more traumatic to me mentally, even though I had a lot of physical discomfort. Mentally, it hurt me a lot more. I went from being this fit athlete, this person that makes his living with his body, and now I can't lift 5 pounds.
Start with your right leg. Right leg. Use your arms to help with the left. That's it. Move your arms forward one at a time.
Doctors told Richard that if he was to ride or even walk again, he faced at least a year of grueling rehabilitation.
Okay. Let's stop for a second. Tell me if it gets better. Do you take a few deep breaths?
I just felt like I could do it quicker. And once they had told me that I would be able to ride horses again, if that's what I chose to do, there was never any doubt in my mind that's what I wanted to do.
Right up. Okay.
On Thanksgiving Day of 1988, just 6 months after his accident, Richard Migliore beat the odds and returned to racing.
The fact that here I was back, I was doing it. All the doubts were washed away, all the feelings like that I might not ever make it when you're going through the pain. And now here you are on this horse, and you're 5 lengths in front, and you're back. It's you. It's what you always wanted to do, and it wasn't taken away from me.
Richard Migliore aboard is Glimmer Glenn in front.
I remember crying. I remember feeling so happy and so proud of Richard. He had pulled it all off, and that he had made it.
I think the EMTs did a fantastic job, and everybody in the hospital that took care of me on the floor, and especially Dr. Weber. I'll always feel very special affection to Dr. Weber because I feel like he put me back together. But without Carmela, I can honestly say I don't think I would have made it back. My wife is an incredible person, and she's my best friend.
I think most people, you know, wouldn't have made it back. But then again, most people aren't jockeys. They're a very rare breed.
Next.
I had a strange gut feeling that something was wrong on this one. That I was going to see something I was not going to like.
911, do you have an emergency?